I'm definitely most comfortable sharing with Sayori first. She's my good friend, after all.
Wow, this is so good! Seriously, this is your first poem?
It's not that good. Jeez.
Seriously, it is! I love it! I had no idea you were such a good poet!
Sayori, you're overreacting a bit. It's really nothing special.
Trust me, it is. How did you write it?
Huh? What do you mean?
Like, what did you think of while you wrote this?
This is gonna sound a bit weird, but I thought of you? She gives me a brief look of disbelief. A faint blush on her cheeks.
Me?
Yeah, hey, not in like a weird way or anything. I just thought of words that reminded me of you, and I went along with that. It just kind of felt natural doing it that way, I guess.
Well, if it works, it works. Looks like this club really is the best place for you.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, Sayori. Good to know I'm not totally in over my head here. She looks at me for a moment, not saying anything. There's a few moments of an odd silence. Earth to Sayori.
Sorry. I'm just not used to seeing you around again. That's all. To have you in the club writing poems, it's lovely though. It just takes a little bit getting used to.
Yeah, that's understandable. I'm a bit surprised myself, to be honest. But I'm enjoying it here so far.
That's good to hear. Do you want to read my poem now? I'm not very good though.
Only one way to find out.
Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning makes me feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above. The sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Well, what'd you think?
I hesitate as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback. It's really... you.
What's that supposed to mean?
As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel good inside.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect, as this is my first time reading your poetry. But the way that this was written, I don't know. It feels really wholesome and cheery. Like you are. I also really like the last line. Trust you of all people to include breakfast in their poems.
Hey, I was eating when I wrote it.
Oh, so you wrote the poem this morning?
Huh? No! Well, maybe. I forgot to write it last night.
Well, at least we know where your inspiration comes from.
Eggs and toast.
Well, I suppose if it sounds silly but it works, then it isn't silly. Either way, thanks for showing me your poem. It was really good.
I'm happy you think so. Anyways, next time I won't forget. Tomorrow's poem will be even better.
I'll hold you to that.
Hi. Hope you've been enjoying your time here.
Yeah, definitely. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming.
Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice.
I guess so.
Anyways, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have. It's my duty as president to make sure that everything is perfect.
I'd have to say that you've been doing a really good job of that already. I doubt that I'll ever have anything to complain about.
Either way, I'm always open to new suggestions for the club as well. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. She says that, but it's gonna be a bit intimidating to try and criticize Monica of all people. I really don't think that there's going to be anything I'll need to speak up about either. One of the other girls would probably say something before I ever needed to. Natsuki definitely would.
Now that that's out of the way, Feel like sharing your poem with me?
I mean, I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I?
You shouldn't be thinking like that.
Yeah, I was just joking. Kind of.
It's alright. I get that it's probably really awkward for you to share a creative work when you're just a beginner. Especially since the rest of us have a bit more experience than you do.
That's an understatement.
Don't worry though. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I don't think many people out there share their poetry on a regular basis. But it's the sort of thing that you get used to pretty quickly once you get it over with.
Yeah, that's true. Don't grade me too harshly.
You'll be fine. Interesting poem. It has a very mellow, yet emotional feel to it. I didn't know that you were this in tune with your feelings.
I can feel my cheeks growing hot at her teasing. You think?
No need to feel so embarrassed about this. Poetry is a very personal thing, so it's not surprising to see you putting your raw emotions down on paper. Actually, your poem reminds me of something Sayori would write.
Really? How so?
I mean, you and Sayori are really good friends, right? It shouldn't be too far-fetched for you two to write similarly.
Well, I guess you could say that we used to be good friends at least. So I guess it surprises me that we could still have things like this in common.
This club is the perfect opportunity to become closer again then, don't you think?
I guess so.
Anyway, much like yours, Sayori's writing tends to have a gentle feel to it. She often uses her words to quietly meander through her imagination and to explore different emotions. Most of the time, I find that she addresses happiness and sadness in equal amounts, creating a bittersweet tone.
Wow, that's kind of unexpected of her. Maybe she's changed more throughout the years than I thought.
I know, right? Who knew that someone so happy would enjoy the pain of tragedy as well?
You know, sometimes you sound like Yuri when you talk about poetry.
Really?
Yeah, I guess you really like it, huh?
You could say that. It'd really make me happy if you can get into poetry as well.
No pressure, right?
For real though, feel free to explore different things and experiment. Maybe you'll find yourself writing in a way you never would have thought you would, just like Sayori does.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up doing a lot of different things before I settle on my own style. And it'll still take a while before I'm completely comfortable sharing my writing.
That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd probably be more surprised if you immediately started writing with your own style. Most people go through the same process that you're going through right now. Trying new things is the best way to find the kind of style that suits you, after all. Anyway, when you talk to everyone about it, naturally they'll be a bit biased towards their own kind of styles. After all, I know I am. But don't force yourself to write in some way just because someone else wants you to. You should try to focus on what you want to do. Feel free to ask me for help anytime, though. I try to be as objective as possible when I talk to people about these topics.
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind.
Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good.
You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know?
Always on duty as club president, huh? Well, let's get to reading then.
The box. I see, but I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass. My prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back, the understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there had seemed so bright. It was so free. So many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realize now that there was never a choice. I was stuck in this box. And they, on the other side, chose for me. So, what do you think?
I don't quite know how to say it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback.
It's okay.
I definitely get a certain kind of feeling from reading your poem, but I'm not sure how to put it into words.
I can understand that. Just try to articulate it however you want. You can use metaphors outside of poetry, you know.
Well, when you put it like that, I don't know. I'd say that your poem is kind of abstract? Very vague, at least. Like, I can't quite tell what exactly you're thinking about, but even so, I can feel what the speaker's feeling.
Yeah, I think that describes my poem pretty well.
Really?
I do like my metaphors. Well, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a poem without a metaphor, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty well covered in English class, at least.
The ability to convey emotions and concepts through words describing things even the writer might never have experienced before, I find that really powerful. When you write metaphorically, it allows the reader to focus on the emotions in the poem.
I guess it kind of opens it up for the readers to have their own interpretation?
Exactly. It's fascinating when people can diverge from the creator's original intent to find their own meaning in a work of art.
Yeah. What was your original intent then?
I think it'd be more fun if you tried to figure it out yourself.
That just makes me more curious now.
Maybe I'll tell you one day. But for now, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem, or anything for that matter, you get too fixated on a specific point. But if you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. So the best thing to do is just force yourself to get something down on the paper and then tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and write whatever is in your heart.
Easier said than done. I get what she's trying to say though. It's better to look back on your work with fresh eyes after you've gotten something down.
That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
So, how is it?
Sorry, I suppose as far as poetry goes, this isn't bad, but I'm not immensely impressed by it. I didn't mean for that to sound so blunt.
Don't worry about it. I didn't take it that way. What makes you think that? Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Is everything okay?
Oh goodness. Sorry. I know what I want to convey, but I need to find the right words.
I understand. Take your time.
Okay, I think I know what I want to say. Do you have any prior writing experience?
To be honest, not really. Is it that obvious?
I don't mean to be rude, but I guessed that it might be after reading through it.
So it's that bad.
No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry.
Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we haven't really gotten anywhere. Yuri seems to be incredibly introverted. It must take her a long time to warm up to new people. Don't worry about it. We all start somewhere, right? What were you saying?
Right, I've just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that showed up in your poem. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you've tried very hard to make the structure of this poem your own. And that's okay. But if this is the first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures. Couplets, sonnets, haikus, and the likes. If you're not confident in your writing style, it'll show in your piece.
It's like Yuri's a totally different person when she gets going. She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly.
Again, it's not your fault. I think once you've studied poetic structures and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition.
I appreciate the feedback. It sounds like you're well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay if I took a look at what you've written?
Oh goodness! Of course! Please let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process. Tumble. Hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions. dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pieces my eyelids, barely painful, and pulls them shut. Even so heavy. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't go look for it. There are more important things for you to do today. I'm sorry if my writing's a bit illegible. Once my pen touches the page, I just want to get my thoughts down.
It's fine, Yuri. I was able to read it just fine. I wasn't thinking that at all.
Are you sure? It seemed to take you a while to read it.
Well, I guess I don't see cursive often. But it's really nice when I do. Your writing's actually quite pretty.
Is that so? I'm glad you think so.
It made your poem stand out even more as well. It's as though your handwriting fits your word choice, or vice versa.
It wasn't too short, was it? I'm used to writing longer pieces, but since this is the first time we're sharing, I thought it would be easier to share.
That makes sense. Do you mind telling me what it's about, though? I'm not sure I understand.
Sorry, I didn't mean to write something confusing.
Oh, it's not that. I just wanted to be sure I was reading it properly.
I see. I suppose from a cursory glance it might not be obvious. But part of what makes poetry magical is how you can conjure up a vivid image with your words. While on the surface it might seem a bit out there, if you look deeper, you might be able to find a deeper meaning hidden amongst the lines, compounded by the metaphors used. For example, the words and images in this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnant of something lost in the past, and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it.
Huh. That's pretty impressive when you put it that way.
I wouldn't go that far, but thanks for the compliment. Hopefully during your time here, your understanding of poetry will grow, and these things will come to you naturally.
I'll do my best. Thank you for sharing with me, Yuri.
Of course.
Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What I mean is that it's just kinda average. Doesn't really evoke any emotions.
So, kind of bland for your taste.
My taste? What's that supposed to mean? Huh?
Oh, nothing.
Well, anyway, I guess I'll show you my poem now. Not that you'll like it or anything. Sometimes. Some folks are winners, some only lose. Some are go-getters, some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all. Sometimes we give up. What else can we do? Told you you'd hate it.
Actually, I like it.
What? Don't just say it's good because I'm a girl. Be honest.
What? No, it has nothing to do with you being a girl. I genuinely like the poem.
Really?
Yeah, it's simple but still pretty effective.
Finally, someone who gets it. People in high school think poetry has to be so formal and vague. But they don't realize that simple writing is just as effective, if not more. The reader shouldn't have to search for the meaning. That's just stupid. Besides, the simpler the writing, the more emphasis on wordplay. Like how I made most of the lines start with some.
Yeah, I noticed that. Made the last couplet seem more powerful.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for.
Well, good job then.
Didn't expect that from the youngest of the club, did ya?
Yeah, guess not.